Hi, this is Josh from CollectionDX.com, a website that I never update and you never visit. But we're here on the YouTube, and that's fine. I do what I want when I want. And what I want to do is talk to you about this lovely Jaws set. Uh, of course, we have the boat, the orca, and the shark, um, who I think had a name, Bruce. I think his name is Bruce. It's a really cool build. It has a lot of pieces. I didn't count how many. It has a lovely instruction book, which this is a Lego Ideas set. This was submitted by someone, and they show like his original model and then where the Lego designers took it from there. This is also another part of what his shark looked like, and the water looks different, and the colors are a little different, the construction of the boat's a little different, but it's the same kind of idea. I always thought it was interesting how someone will submit an idea for Lego Ideas and like, wow, this is great. We're going to change it completely. I don't know why. I don't know how that works. I've never submitted anything to Lego Ideas, but it is what ends up is some really cool designs that probably maybe structurally or things need changing. But this seems like kind of a whole rebuild aside from the concept. So I'm also doing this because we just had the 4th of July yesterday, and on Amity Island, that's when all the beaches were going to open, and Big Shark ate a lot of people. Whole thing. Jaws is a fantastic movie. I am not one of those people that like is a fanatic about Jaws, but I always enjoy watching Jaws. And being from New England and having been to Martha's Vineyard and living close to the coast, it has a very like local feel to it and draw to it. So I like that a lot. It reminds me of home. This is almost nearly a flawless movie. But I know people that get really into Jaws. I like Jaws a lot, but my fandom lives elsewhere, right? That being said, though, this is a fun kit, and you start by building the orca first, and then you build the shark, and then you build the base, and then they all kind of go together. But we're going to talk about the orca first and go into some of the fun details of this build. I am not a super Lego guy in that I can't tell you like about the different specifics if this build was good, not good in terms of like parts usage, but I can show you what I liked. Let's go into the minifigures first. Here we have Hooper, and he can come. I mean, there's all kinds of accessories, but in this case, he has a camera and a little lunchbox, and of course, they have reversible faces on each one. And next, we have Quint. He's got a spear gun and a knife and his cap. He looks again really really cool. Moving to the side, you've got harpoon storage there. Then you've got the barrels that we know explode. And there's an interesting touch here on this railing. They used hot dogs on the railing. And I think these are like battle droid arms for Star Wars. You can see up on the bridge here, they have these two pieces, which are kind of supposed to resemble like a shark mouth. Cool feature, but not exercised super well, is this top, which is removable to get access to the inside. But it does kind of stick a little bit. The cockpit of the boat is really cool. Cockpit, I don't know what you'd call it. The cabin of the boat. So you can see that there's a Amity newspaper, a coffee cup, a map of Martha's Vineyard, basically. A little letter on the dashboard, a compass, a little steering wheel. Some of these are labels, some of them just are. And these windows actually open a little bit. You have to move the harpoons out of the way, but they do open from the bottom, so you can have the windows open. Here's another look from the other side. Now, the art kind of has them like hanging around in here, but there's not a lot of like studs to make them sit, basically. So you could take out the newspaper and the table and maybe make one of them hold on to the steering wheel. You might get all three of them in there, but honestly, it's not really worth doing, I don't think. You get little silver containers here. You have, that's probably more life preservers. You have this. These are shark cage pieces that just kind of sit in there. I think those are shark cage pieces. There's an interesting thing going on here that I understand, like they did this on a kind of an interesting kind of pivot way where they had these, you can see the ball connectors in here to make these pieces come together in the front. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be up or down, but I don't like this gap. I feel like with all the technology in Lego that we have, we could have made that a little more streamlined. And of course, we have the mast that has the ropes going up to the top with a little flag. These come off pretty regularly. I probably could have tied them a little tighter, but as it is, there's a little bit of play in it. But you could like tie this off. Here's a better look at the cockpit for, God, I keep saying cockpit like it's an airplane. This is like the secondary, you can drive it from the cabin or you can drive it from the roof, basically. That's what this is. It's got little details inside. It's got a little searchlight, little horn, the red and green lights, the life preservers on the side. Yeah, it's cool. I like it a lot. So the ship was a lot of fun to build. It took me a couple days. I don't have like hours of dedicated build time, so I just kind of get it in when I can. I've actually had this kit since Christmas, so it's what now, July. It just took me that long to get around to building this set again, but it is an awesome set. I am a big fan. And to put this on the base, there's a little void under here, and they made this little there's like a blue tab here that this just kind of rests on. Now the shark, before we get to the shark, look at this plate. Do they always have quotes on the things? I don't know, but I kind of love that they do. The shark is a fun build, but there's kind of more going on to it than we see here. So that basically has a partial display like this, and then there's a display stand like this, so you can take the shark and add it to its own stand. So you basically just take this, and there's a little clip in there, and you just kind of slide it on. But like with Lego, just be careful. So here's the shark. There are movable fins on the sides. The jaw moves a little bit, not a lot. The tail does not move. It's one stud holding this on, so you're going to knock it off all the time. It is, it's a shark, and it's a cool looking shark. I like how they did the eyes with just little peg with a round bit into a brick that has a hole in it, and it's just really effective. The mouth looks super cool inside. I'm realizing that I think I missed a piece inside now that I'm looking at it, but we won't tell anybody. The shark also has its own plate on the bottom. So you see Jaws right there. But honestly, I don't think anybody is displaying this like separately. I think the part of this coolness comes from this whole scene that they build out here. And it's one it's just ocean water, but it's really cool. They have little white caps of everything. They have one of the barrels floating in the water. Underneath, it's pretty well reinforced. But as I was putting together, these little things would keep popping out. I might reinforce the rest of this just to make it a little more stable in these connections. But it's really still good. Like once you get it together, it's together. Also, a lot of fingerprints end up on this. Not a lot you can do. You can wipe it all down afterwards if you want, or just leave it. I don't really care so much. The whole set together with the orca and the shark, the whole set is just a beautiful display piece. Now, see if I can separate these without it being a thing. Kind of grab it under there. There we go. And kind of put it down. Right there. You can make it so it plugs in, or you can just sort of leave it. So, this is an incredible set. I like it a lot. I would recommend, if you're a Jaws fan, you should get one of these and put it together. And it's going to be a great statement piece. There's not a lot of like Jaws toys except for sharks. They never made a toy of the orca or any of that. So I think this is a nice scene to replicate. But pay attention during your build. There are I felt like there's a lot of extra pieces, and I felt there was a couple of missing pieces. For example, these green blocks here, there's supposed to be 3 of them. I only found 2. And I don't know, they didn't just disappear. I don't know why, but that was just gone. I think there was another thing that had like a little missing piece. But overall, it's unusual to get missing pieces in a Lego set for me. No, like if you do the off-brand ones, you might get one, but I was a little bit like, what's going on, Lego? I don't know if that's a thing. I don't buy a lot of Lego. I don't know if this is common these days, but it just took me a little bit by surprise that it was missing. Anyway, Josh from CollectionDX, happy 4th of July for those of you who care about such things. Let's get ready for a good summer. The beach is open, and we're ready to swim.